number one sports ground was packed to the brim and every vantage point was fair game. The crowd expected fireworks. Tim Perrin lit the fuse 2 minutes in.
And Tim Perrin having a little bit there, and it wasn't a bad right there from Timmy Perrin, and it's on already. This is the early emotion of a grand final.
Oh, well, who isn't it?
A few minutes later, Brian Robb had a clear run to the line but threw a juggling act in to keep up the entertainment level.
The opening try of the 93 grand final, a great short ball from Steve Linane.
The underdogs were suddenly looking genuine chances. Tony Price knew it was time to pull something out of the bag.
And the Rosellas are in for their first try of the afternoon.
That try had the desired effect, but Peter Chapman tried to stretch the friendship just too far. Kurri went to the break 12-6 leaders, came back in the second half looking confident. But West were on a roll and determined to get over the line. Only sheer desperation held them out. Finally, Michael Reid found the space and he was in to lock up the scores. Kurri replied through sheer weight of numbers. The conversion from Phil Williams will go down as the kick of the year. He defied all logic and a gale force wind. Basking in the joy of a try, Kurri went to sleep, allowing Todd Anderson to stroll across the line. Again, the scores were locked up, the intensity from both sides immense, but a high tackle with 3 minutes to go saved West from a try that ended up costing them the game. Phil Williams made no mistake. The Bulldogs then only had to hang on for the bell.
There it is! The bell's gone! It's all over! And Kurri have won the grand final! Their first grand final since 1945!
The whole Kurri side swept up in history-making emotion. The Kurri team are on their way home now as heroes. One punter a lot happier as well. It's believed he collected $15,000 for the win. An hour after the game and the Kurri team were back in front of that familiar chant. The 4,000-strong crowd at the Workers' Club then burst into chorus after chorus of "We Are the Champions." The team song released when they won their last premiership in 1945 was given a good workout, and there was even talk that it will be re-released. The team had the chance to drink from the grand final cup. Kurri's secretary Ian McDonald couldn't finish his drink, so he had a remedy for the leftovers. When it came around to his second sip, again he couldn't empty the chalice. The Bulldogs' victory appeared to be the tonic needed to unify a struggling community.
Winners are grinners. In Kurri today they were aplenty during a parade through the town for this year's Rugby League premiers. It was 48 years between premierships for the Bulldogs, appropriately seated opposite this year's winners, several members of the Bulldogs' 1940 and 45 grand final teams. Also putting in an appearance, Kurri-born Knights international Paul Harrigan. But the other local lad holding most people's attention was former Australian Rugby League captain John Sattler. Having driven from his home on the Gold Coast for the ceremony, the visit provided an opportunity for Sattler to recall how he got started in the game.
A really good friend of mine from here whose two sons play, Williams boys that play in the first grade team. Their dad, Alan, one year when I was about 16 and a half or something, I was breaking a young horse and I went past the football ground and he sort of said, come and have a game of touch, which I did. And so he was responsible for getting me there in the initial part of it.
Cessnock Mayor Marie Callaghan then formally honoured each Bulldog player with a commemorative medallion. Mrs Callaghan and captain coach Steve Linane then unveiled a special grand final plaque.
Kurri's Phil Williams booted the premiers 2 points clear in the opening minutes before Mal Graham exchanged pleasantries with his counterpart.
Steve Linane gives him a little short right to the jaw.
But it was Linane who had the last laugh, his chip and chase giving the Bulldogs an 8-0 lead.
Inside to Brian Quinton. They won't lay a hand on Quinton in the first try of the 94 grand final.
Williams then extended Kurri's advantage, a penalty goal and try initiated by Quinton, stunning the Scorpions.
Sticks it on the toe. I thought Williams was offside, but he's going to score the try underneath the post. And Kurri.
Shane Tobin gave Toronto some hope with a dubious try right on half-time, while a Ryder penalty and Paul Bacon try in the opening minutes of the second term put them back in contention. Curri then advanced to a 20-10 lead via the boot of Dale Williams, but Toronto kept coming. And it was their quick thinking in the ruck that brought an unlikely try 5 minutes from time. But Curri held on in the final stages, their fans swamping them, aware their team had created club history in winning consecutive premierships.
Shell shock, that was the talk all week, and then today it was history.
And shell shock continued last night as the team and their fans crammed into the Kurri Workers Club to savour the victory. The Kurri team, including 4 sets of brothers, were paraded for most of the night, all heroes. But there were none bigger than captain coach Steve Linnane, who believes this season's victory surpasses last year's.
We've struggled with injuries for the majority of the season, and we struggled to make third spot, and all of a sudden we find ourselves premiers, you know, through sheer guts.
Having not won a premiership in 48 years, Kurri have now won 2. These people believe they can make it 3 next year.
You're on a roll, they want more. You can't keep them happy, can you? So if we can turn around and do that, well, all well and good. But we're happy with 2 at the moment, and we'll worry about 3 next year, I think.
Special delivery for West from the Kurri team.
Got the boys going to the West in the weekend.
As Kurri strives for the treble, these were the messages for West today from the town's butcher and baker, while the confident candlestick maker was already selling shirts heralding the hat-trick.
Not a for sure thing, but I'd say they've got a very good chance, yeah.
The shirts were turning over more cash on the town's corner than a bookie on Melbourne Cup Day. You see, this town isn't expecting any rough rides come Sunday, and the Bulldogs' scowl will turn to a smile. While the Kurri streets were decked out in red, white and blue, the most amazing scenes were down here at the local school, where you could have been forgiven for thinking that the Bulldogs had already won the premiership. With the Kurri club song providing the backdrop, the school had one of its more unusual recess breaks, with the players stealing the show. Most had dressed for the occasion, some had written poems for the team, while others chose song to display their feelings.
Team and we'll beat the rest.
The early fireworks didn't eventuate, but there was still plenty of intensity, with nerves getting the better of even the most experienced.
Got a goal, he's 45 metres out, and that's an absolute horror.
It was left to another Bulldogs veteran playing possibly his last game to post first points.
Close Bill Williams, he scored!
A minor altercation allowed Williams to extend the margin by 2, while the guile of Linnane was proving decisive for Kurri. They appeared to go further ahead in the 17th minute, only to have referee Williams disallow the try. But there was no doubt 8 minutes later on the opposite flank, Linnane and Williams combining for Hughes.
Quickly out to Mark Hughes for the corner, and he scores in the corner! So the try for Kurri coming off a Western Suburbs era.
West appeared to be having one of those days, while Brian Robb kicked the Premiers to a 12-0 lead at the break. West failed to take advantage of the stiff breeze, and with the scent of a hat-trick of titles, Kurri's quest gained momentum with tries in the 52nd and 63rd minutes, the latter securing a 22-0 advantage and the championship.
The right hand upright, shut the gate, Kurri have won 3 in a row.
Rosellas scored a belated try through Jamie Greenaway, but the Bulldogs couldn't be denied, joining West, Maitland and Lakes as the only other clubs to capture 3 successive titles. A mass of red, white and blue swamped number 1 sports ground after yesterday's 24-4 triumph, all keen to savour the hat-trick. Hours later, the celebrations intensified as the party moved west to Kurri, the Coalfields community overwhelmed with their team's success.
No doubt this is our best. This is the best feeling we've had, and best feeling all our supporters have had in the town. You know, it's just great.
The treble made possible in many people's minds by Linnane, who was named man of the match yesterday.
Can't play, can he? He's the best thing that's come to Kurri.
Like Williams and Linane, most had been part of the two previous celebrations, but some were enjoying the festivities for the first time. Gavin Cook was with beaten grand finalist Toronto last year on the receiving end of the Bulldog bite, before joining Kurri this season.
I'm happy I made the switch, and you can't find any better supporters in Australia than Kurri.
And one of their favourites last night was 18-year-old Mark Hughes, who recovered from a battering in the opening minutes to score 2 tries.
Quickly out to Mark Hughes for the corner, and he scores in the corner.
It's amazing. I was in the crowd last year, just a young kid watching it, and all of a sudden I'm thrown in there, and now it's done me kind of good. I just want more of it, just like the rest of them.
After winning a hat-trick of titles, the Bulldogs are now chasing 4, which would be a record in the Newcastle competition.
It's more than 2 months since Kurri won its 3rd consecutive grand final, but the victory is still fresh in the memories of supporters. The civic reception was a belated thank you from the town, with one of the club's legends honoured by today's stars.
A bit of a lump. Hey, your face is going.
John Sattler is one of 10 internationals produced by the club, the former Australian captain playing 2 seasons for Kurri. But he turned the spotlight on Kurri captain Steve Linane.
I think it's a magnificent and massive effort, to win 3 in a row, and it's a great credit to Steve Linane, who's been able to keep them together.
John Sattler, very proud of Kurri, and he's been here once before and to one of these things, and we're very happy to have him here.